Welcome back to BMaster 79. Today's lesson is job interviews, common questions. You are going to hear 7 questions that come up in almost every English job interview, a model answer for each one, the language that makes those answers work, and a short quiz at the end. Here is the plan. 7 questions you can expect in almost any English job interview, a model answer for each one in natural spoken English, the phrases that make an answer sound structured and confident, the common mistakes that make a strong candidate sound weak, and at the end, a short quiz to check what you remember. One thing before we start, the interviewer and the candidate you are about to hear are invented characters written as teaching examples for this video. The company, the job and the answers are constructed. This is not a recording of a real interview, so use the model answers as patterns and then replace every detail with your own experience. And please say each answer out loud at least twice. Reading silently is not practice. Question 1, and it is almost always the first one. Tell me about yourself. Come in, take a seat. Let's start with an easy one. Tell me about yourself.
Thank you. I'm a marketing assistant with about 3 years experience, mostly in social media and email campaigns. In my current role, I look after a newsletter that goes out to 12,000 subscribers. I'm looking for a role with more of a strategy side to it, which is why this one caught my eye.
Notice the shape. Who she is now, one concrete achievement, and then why she is in the room today. 3 steps, about 30 seconds. This is not the place for your life story. Question 2. Why do you want to work here? And why do you want to work here specifically?
2 reasons. First, you work with independent food brands, and that's the sector I know best. Second, I read that your team keeps everything in-house rather than outsourcing, so I'd be involved from the first idea through to the final reports. That's exactly the kind of work I'm looking for.
The key phrase there is, there are 2 reasons. It tells the interviewer how long your answer will be and it keeps you organized. And notice she names something specific about the company. Saying, it's a great company, tells the interviewer nothing at all. Question 3. What would you say your main strength is? What would you say your main strength is?
Turning messy data into something the team can actually use. Last quarter our campaign reports were 40 pages long and nobody read them, so I rebuilt them as a 1-page summary. The sales team now brings it to their weekly meeting.
Claim, example, result. She names the strength, gives one concrete example, and finishes with what changed because of her. A strength with no example behind it sounds like a guess. Question 4, and this is the one most people dread. What's your biggest weakness? And what would you say is your biggest weakness?
I used to take on too much myself because I found it hard to delegate and it slowed the whole team down. I've been working on it by handing over one project at a time and agreeing checking points instead of checking constantly. It's still something I watch, but it's much better than it was.
Listen to the grammar there. I used to take on too much for the old habit. I've been working on it for the change that is still going on. A real weakness plus the fix. Please avoid saying, I'm a perfectionist. Interviewers hear it every single day. Question 5. Tell me about a time you dealt with a difficult problem. Tell me about a time you had to deal with a difficult problem at work.
We once sent a campaign email with the wrong discount code to around 8,000 people. I flagged it to my manager straight away, drafted the apology email, and we honored the code for anyone who had used it. We lost some margin that week, but complaints stayed low, and we added a second pair of eyes to the sign-off process.
That answer follows a shape you should learn. STAR, situation, task, action, result. And notice she does not hide the mistake. She finishes on what the team changed afterwards, which is the part the interviewer is really listening for. Question 6. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Leading campaigns rather than just running them, and ideally managing 1 or 2 junior people. I'm not in a hurry for a title. I'd rather build the experience first. From what I've read, this role would put me on that path.
What the interviewer wants to know is whether you will still be there in 2 years. So show ambition, but keep it inside this company. Do not describe a 5-year plan that ends with you leaving. And question 7, the one candidates throw away. Do you have any questions for us? We're nearly out of time. Do you have any questions for us?
Yes, too. What would success look like in this role after the first 6 months? And how does the team decide which campaigns to prioritize when everything feels urgent?
Always take 2 questions in with you, written down if you need to. Saying, no, I think you've covered everything, wastes your last chance to show that you have thought about the job. Now the language. On the left, 4 phrases that hold an answer together. There are 2 reasons for that. First. Second, let me give you a concrete example to put that in context. And the result was that. On the right, 4 phrases that buy you a moment when you need to think. That's a good question. Let me think for a second. Do you mean the day-to-day work or the longer term? Could I come back to that at the end? And just to check I've understood the question. Silence feels much longer to you than it does to the interviewer, but these phrases are still safer than filling the gap with A quick do and don't. Do give one clear example for every claim you make. Do use numbers where you have them. Budget, deadline, team size. Do finish your answer and then stop talking. And do ask about the role, the team, and the first 6 months. Now the don'ts. Don't criticize your last employer even when you were right. Don't answer only yes or no because they want evidence. Don't repeat your CV word for word because they have already read it. And don't say you have no questions at the end. Here are all 7 in one place, with the shape of the answer next to each one. Tell me about yourself. Where you are now, one achievement, why you're here, why do you want to work here, something specific about them, what's your main strength, claim, example, result, what's your biggest weakness, a real habit plus the fix. Tell me about a difficult problem, STR, ending on what changed. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Growth inside this company. And do you have any questions? Always arrive with 2. Pause the video here and note down which 3 you find hardest. Quick check. 4 questions. Pause if you need to. 1. Your answer to tell me about yourself should finish with your education or with the reason you're in the room today. 2. Complete the phrase. There are 2 reasons for that. Blank. Second. 3. Which weakness answer is stronger? I'm a perfectionist or a real habit plus what you changed. And 4. How many questions should you have ready for the end of the interview? Here are the answers. 1. With the reason you're in the room today. Finish on this job, not on your education. 2. First. There are 2 reasons for that. First. Second. 3. A real habit plus what you changed. I'm a perfectionist sounds rehearsed. And 4. 2. 1 question looks thin. 2 shows the interviewer that you prepared. So before your next interview, 4 things. Pick 3 of these 7 questions and record yourself answering them. Attach 1 example with a number in it to every claim you make. Write down 2 questions to ask at the end and take them in with you. And practice out loud, because the first time you say an answer should not be in the interview itself. If this helped, subscribe to BMaster79 and I'll see you in the next lesson.